All right, so now that we have our landscape, let's add some lake into it and maybe some rivers. So what I want to do is to actually go ahead and remember what I told you before. You need to go to plugins and go to the water plugin. Okay, so if you don't have it enabled, enable it now, restart the editor, and you will be good to go. So when you go plus here, you can add new objects into your scene. I want you to type water, and you will see that you have water body ocean, and you have island, lake, ocean, river. We're gonna use the lake. We're gonna drag and drop this. We're gonna put it here. You will notice what will happen soon, as soon as the shaders are compiling. And as you can see, we already have a spline here. And it will work very similar to what our mountains, we work pretty much the same way as the mountains. So it's gonna work really soon, and there you go. That's the water. All right. So what can we do here? As you can see, everything is like kind of blending here. And I can actually go down a little bit. Okay, something like that, for example, if I want it. I'm gonna leave it to 0, just because I want to play with the settings a little bit. So if you go to landscape, you will realize that actually you have a water layer now. If you click here, you will see that you don't have the water. Okay, so what you can do now, first things first, let's try to change this spline. So let's click on this one. Let me see if I can click on it. Water body lake. There you go. And let's try to add the spline like here. Let me take a look at my references. So I have a couple of those here, and honestly, this is a very big lake. I'm gonna put it on the left so I can see it, and I can just move it around like this, and also do something like that. And I think I will add another spline point here. Okay, and then move it a little bit, just like this. And I'm gonna actually have a little bit more space to work with. All right, so we have our lake, but our transition is not really what I really wanted, to be honest. Like, you can try to move this up a little bit, but you will see that your water, like what's happening is that you're blending, right? You're creating it's kind of like creating a plane here. Like, you're putting a plane with water, and if you move it up, you will need to sculpt by hand the terrain, right? So this is what this plugin is doing, is actually doing that for you. So let's go to the water body lake and actually change some settings here. So wave, we don't really need to change or whatever. Let's see if there is a blending option here. Yeah, blend mode. So a smooth blending. We're gonna go for the outer smooth distance, and we're gonna pump this number up. Okay, that was a little bit too much. So let's go for 100, 1,000, 10,000. Okay, that's too much. 5,000, 2,500, 2,000. Okay, maybe 1,000. We can even go for the inner smooth, but it's just gonna make it like a very, very small. So To be honest, I don't dislike it at all. So we can just play with this, like having 10,000. That's too much. Let's put it on 1,000 and 1,000. Yeah, something like that. Okay. And we can move it down or up. And you will have your blending here. Okay. Blend radius. Also, if you check here what's happening, if you put like 500, you will actually, blend your terrain a little bit better. So let's go for the effects. Let's see if there is a effects landscape. If we uncheck this, obviously we're not gonna affect the landscape that we were creating. So if we do that, and then we go for our blending, and then we don't have the smooth blending anymore. So what we can try is to move this up, but you will see that the landscape is not really changing. So you will need to be really careful with this setting. Like it has a very smooth blending, but you're gonna be having some issues here. So let's go ahead and not do that. So let's go for blend. Affect landscape, sorry. Affects landscape, yes. It does affect the landscape. So we go here. And obviously this looks a little bit weird, but what you can do actually is to put this up. And what it will do is basically it will affect the landscape that is below, but there's nothing below. Okay, you can do that. Or you can add another layer. So you can add another layer. So let's go ahead and create a new layer. Landscape edit layer, select, and this will be my finer details. And what you can do here is basically sculpt a little bit. Just decrease the size a bit and just sculpt a little bit so you can have some kind of like a more natural transition here. And you can smooth things out. Let me try to sculpt again here. There you go. You can see how useful this is. All right, and let me smooth things out here. Just like that. And everything starts looking a little bit better. I can go for my erosion. If you remember that tool, very handy. And I can go for erosion here. To make it a little bit more natural. All right. So now that I have our lake, I think we can make it bigger, to be honest. Or we can just move this one around. So let's go ahead and move this one. We could potentially move that one as well. But actually, yeah, we need to make it a little bit bigger. So set the spline point here and move it just like that. There you go. All right. So now that we have our lake, it's time to add a river.